Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. I want to invite you to subscribe if you haven't done that already. You can give me a thumbs up on these videos if you get something out of it. Reaching out to me is easy. If you're looking for Skype sessions, you'll find an email on me in every video. And you can also PayPal through that same email if you want to support the channel that way. Alright, today is a response video. Recently I put up Cowboy chords for a mandolin, and it's a big question mark as to whether that's even a real thing or not, but it kind of is. If we think about B flat, lowest intervals that we could play, G, C, F, we're all over the place using open intervals to play cowboy chords. But the question led into, is there a caged system for a mandolin? The answer to that has to be no, because we don't move those shapes like F or B flat or C up and down the fretboard. Here's what I think the closest thing to that we have as mandolin players would be. The triad shapes. If we're playing C, and we think about just this outline of the chord, the root note, the third scale degree, fifth scale degree, and all of the language that we can play out of that shape. And if I move on to the next triad, there I'm playing the root, the fifth, and been back to, the third, the fifth, and then the root note. All of this is tabbed. You'll find a link to the tab in the description of the video. But now the language here, the way a guitar player would think of moving the cage system up and down the neck, we can look at the triads. Each of those holding their own series of chromaticism and things that feel logical to play on the mandolin. If I play a phrase, every line of that comes right out of those triad shapes that we have. I'm going to play through this the way that I have it tabbed for C. There we have the ring finger starting on the root note of C. Now I'm going to move to my index finger on that same interval and play the triads here. That's also tabbed. So when I'm playing a phrase across the fretboard, that's all happening with that point of reference. The same way a guitar player would move that caged system up and down the neck, I can play these shapes. So in the tab, you're going to find this for C, for two different positions, and then for G, if we played triads for it, D triads, as well as B flat. It's a lot of information. So I'm going to play just sticking to C. If we looked at different lines from this first shape, look at the chromaticism. I'm playing the third and fourth fret in between the second and fifth fret, which are the notes that outline the chord. And then let's go to the next triad. Here I'm going to play the same chromaticism, and then I added a flat 7 note up to the root. So now onto this 5, 1, 3 triad. Once again, chromaticism into the minor third to major third. There's minor third down to the second scale degree. And then we move on. Now we have another arpeggio. We can think of it that way. 2 arpeggios stacked on top of each other as opposed to the chain triads. All of it being it creates that movement. Obviously, you're not going to be able to play through any of that if you don't know this. Up to third position. So get these triads down and see if it doesn't make a real difference in your movement on the fretboard, and then kind of relate that to a guitar player using the caged system. There's something about the language of that caged system that sounds very inviting, and it doesn't sound threatening like when we say chain triads, which is what we're playing here, but they're really not that difficult, and you'll develop language inside of those shapes and a real connection to the fretboard.